Vibrational Medicine is a podcast to bring awareness to the various natural wellness practices and treatments available. I am your host, Ash Neumeister, and these conversations are born out of my curiosity to learn more about the technologies available to us to stay in our optimal, vital, healthy, and natural state for our entire life, regardless of aging and all of the challenges of living in our modern day world. We will discuss topics covering how to stay healthy in mind, body, and spirit. Let's take a moment for one deep breath and then enjoy the conversation. On this episode of Vibrational Medicine with Ash, I got to sit down with one of my dear friends and mentors, Joan of Angels. She has really supported me over the years in dropping into a greater sense of knowing of who I am and what I'm here to do on the planet. I believe that having a sense of purpose and accepting and embracing all of our gifts is a really important piece of our overall health and wellness. When you have that sense of direction and confidence, it really does impact how you feel and how you show up in your life. So please enjoy this conversation. We get into all kinds of things, including what's really happening on the planet right now and how we can participate and show up as light workers. What does that even mean? She even does a reading for all of those that are listening using her beautiful cards. We talk about the power of her paintings and what are angels and guides and these other beings that are here to support us. We really dive in deep to talking about the importance of maintaining a high vibration and of being that light during such challenging times on our planet. Enjoy this conversation and please let me know what you think in the comments and share this to anyone that you think might be interested. And you can give me ratings or anything on all of the different platforms. It really does help people find this podcast. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone to another episode of Vibrational Medicine with Ash. And I am delighted to have a beautiful friend and mentor and coach and advisor and all good things on this episode, Joan of Angels. And I've really been looking forward to this particular podcast because Joan has really brought a lot of healing and really supported me in stepping into my own level of confidence and a deeper sense in knowing of who I am through working with her one-on-one and in groups. So we're going to dive a little bit more into that later in the conversation. But first, I just wanted to welcome you, Joan, and thank you so much for doing this podcast with me.
It's an honor and a pleasure, Ashley, to watch you step into like your leadership and who you are and this magnificent being. So I'm actually really excited to be here with you.
Beautiful, exciting. Well, I would love for you to start really just by explaining a little bit about your background and, of course, share your amazing story about how all of your painting came through. We can start there and then we'll see where we go from there.
Perfect. So actually, I'm a chiropractor by trade. That's what I trained to be because I always wanted to be able to just with one touch, okay, one session, one touch, one note, really heal people. Just like the masters did, really like the masters did with one touch, Jesus was able to heal people. And I had a prayer that would be my life's work, that I could become that kind of healer. And so from the very beginning, I've always invoked working with high spiritual beings to come through me to help heal, align, raise people's vibration, and actually help them remember who they are. And I did that for many years as a chiropractor, but my vision was that I was here to heal and inspire millions of people. And so, honest to goodness, Spirit had its own plan. And halfway through that mission, I lost everything. I had everything taken from me. And the reason I had everything taken from me was because I was on, if we have our path, sometimes our mind I loved my success. I loved how I was helping people, but my ego got involved a little bit ahead of me. And so what happened was that I was more on this path instead of the straight path. And so what happened, and it happens to many of us, we're nudged. We lose everything, we get ill, we get, a life crisis. And so we lost everything, my family and I. And the way we recovered was that I had always been a mastermind. I always knew spirit can lead the way. And I put myself in a position where I had to trust spirit, period. There was no other way. And I'm the kind of person I am. I'm so stubborn. I have to learn by doing, learn by showing. And so my children and I formed this group. My little daughter named us the Miracle Makers Club. Why? Because we needed a miracle. And she turned around and said, Mom, when we get out of this, can we go around the world and help other families learn that they don't have to struggle like this? So I learned that when we raise our own vibrational frequency, I was teaching it already as a doctor of chiropractic and a healer, but again, it came down to the fact that I was put in a position of learning to practice what I preached. And so through this experience, we formed the Miracle Makers Club. Why? We wanted a mastermind group to raise our vibrational frequency, which is a lot of what you do. So that's how I began. I began by getting really knocked around and having to do a reboot to really remember who I was. And I'm going to fast forward you to 2013, when I was once again told that I had to be completely aligned, 100% body, mind, and spirit, which meant, when you're tuning up for the orchestra, right? If you're only 97% tuned, you're still out of tune, right?
Right, yeah.
An instrument. Well, that's what spirit said. They said, well, great job, Joan, but you're still a little out of tune. And I was really despairing because no money, I was suffering, like, where is this miracle? Like so many other people who I know are going to listen to this. And so what happened? I started to hear this voice. It was Halloween, 2013. This voice said to me, paint 33 angels in 30 days. I said, what are you, crazy? That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right? A normal person would say that. And I heard the voice again, paint 33 angels. And I'm going, well, you're crazy. I can't do eyes. It was like, no, you have to paint 33 angels. And the moment I said yes, this whoosh of energy came through. And I did not paint them, spirit painted them. And that began a process of me learning how to listen, awaken, activate, and then continue to raise vibrational frequency through the art, through the coaching, through the ways that I had been trained on how to even go from a 97% to 100%.
Right.
And so that's when the art was born. And the art, the last thing I'm going to tell you is the moment they got up into the angel loft, all 33 of them, they spoke to me. A book fell off the shelf. Your call for angelic assistance has been heard. We're here. And I began to be told to call others into the presence of these angels. And that's how I dived into becoming Joan of Angels. And I'm a paintbrush for divine beings.
I love that. And I can attest to how powerful and beautiful your paintings are, and that it really does, they evoke that being into this realm. It's a way of bringing them into this 3D world where we can actually feel their presence. So I highly recommend anyone to look on your website or come see you and check out your paintings as well.
We'll send them to my Facebook right now because my website is undergoing a tremendous shift.
Okay.
So for my Instagram, my Facebook, I'm starting to post more, and I can direct you. And I probably will have it done in about 4 days now after this.
Nice.
So people have come into the house. I had this dear friend who had seen my art. She's a master teacher also, and a high priestess, and she had seen my art through the photos. And so she was not prepared. She walks in the door. It's late at night. She gets off the plane. She walks in the door. She says, "Oh my God, Joni, do you know Krishna's here? Krishna's here." And of course, I had all these paintings of Krishna around, but she saw the being before she saw the art. So when
Wow.
the beings actually accompany, and the other thing about them is that they call their humans. They want you,
Mm,
literally. So that's how they work. They call you, and notice how you've been called at different times by different paintings.
mm-hmm.
People will sleep here and they'll wake up in the morning and they'll say, "Oh my God, Joan, this one spoke to me all night long. She has to come home with me."
Mm.
Unbelievable to have art that works like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first time I had ever heard of anything like that when I met you. And it's something where you have to just like see it to believe it, or be in the presence of it to really understand what we're even talking about, you know?
Right, right. And so a lot of people never find me because really the truth is actually you have to be at the right frequency to even for me to be seen to you.
Okay, got it.
Okay, for
Mm-hmm.
you to come into this gallery or even work with me, you've already attained a certain level as a neophyte, as a seeker.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And that's when you get called.
that
When
makes
you've
sense.
already done enough work to get there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would like to take a step back actually and talk a little bit more about that time in your life when you were creating this Miracle Makers Club, as you say, with your daughters. And oh wow, there's some sirens going by. Can hear that pretty loud.
Someone needs a miracle.
Yes, speaking of miracles.
All right, someone needs a miracle.
Um, so what was that like as far as, okay, you're in this place where you've lost everything and you're maybe not sure what's going to happen next. Like for people that are in that kind of a situation, maybe right now, how do you even start to create space where you can start to hear those voices or hear that guidance, or what does it look like to create like a Miracle Makers Club? That's what you called it, right? The Miracle Maker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Miracle Makers Club. Those are great questions, Ashley. So let's just say this: when we have lost everything and we're down here, there's several things going on. There's a lack of memory of who and how powerful you are, and really probably there's lessons that you have to learn from that. The lessons being to remember who you are, to remember that you still have this connection and you still have your mission. And so, I mean, I was lost and devastated on one level, but on another level, that as we came together, my kids and I, and we chanted and meditated, we were literally envisioning what we wanted. We were creating the thought forms of what we wanted, and it was so powerful. And it was re-emphasizing to me the mission that I knew I had, which is to heal and inspire and raise the vibrational frequency of this planet for millions and millions of people. So in a way, that's when faith is required, and that is when it's time to work inside to raise our energy. And so I was able to do that with my children through that focused prayer and meditation. And we created miracles out of that situation. We actually, believe it or not, ended up winning millions of dollars in a lawsuit that changed case law around the country and positively impacted hundreds of thousands of people. Not
Wow.
the millions that I was really pushing myself for, but it was hundreds of thousands of people. And I know that happened because what happened, my kids and I created a resonance of a high vibration. That high vibration, and this is for everyone, causes an attraction of what you need right now to raise your own level to get you out of this. Okay? The
Mm.
right person, place, or thing. In my case, it was an article in the Wall Street Journal that talked about just my situation. And that article, which should never have shown up, it was like a magical thing that showed up, changed the course of my life and my children's life. But it happened because when we have that prayer and that visualization, and when we've cleared everything away, we can take that thought form and bring it into a 3D reality. It's all
Mm.
about sometimes we can't always get up there. How do we raise our vibration to attract what we want? Sometimes spirit just says, well, do the best you can, and we'll help out the rest.
Right.
We'll bring you the right people, place, or things. And so it's a matter of really raising your faith, your confidence, and belief that you're here for a reason. You may be lost temporarily, but you're not lost.
Right. Yeah. And I know that it can be a little challenging sometimes, obviously, to even, when you're in those low places, to even visualize or believe that these things are possible, what you're really trying to create. And so another thing that I found in my life that's been really supportive is seeking help in community. It's always really important to have, if possible. I mean, everyone can find someone that they can ask for support. Even that might be a little challenging, but I do think that that sense of community and feeling like you're not alone is also really, really important during those times.
Yes. And really knowing, when I painted those 33 angels and put them on the wall, and suddenly this book that I've been carrying for years, never read, opens up and says, your call for angelic assistance has been heard. It just really blew me away. And they said, we've been waiting for you to call on us. And they said, because this book kept falling off, opening to these different pages. It's like your call, not only your call, but they said something else that also woke me up. It was like, to be one of the chosen ones, you must choose. Okay. So there you are in the midst of despair, poverty, misery, whatever. But a hand is coming down through you if you use your energy to keep reaffirming, I am safe, all is well. I am safe. I don't care if you have to repeat it 25,000 times until your consciousness gets it. It's better than saying, I'm lost. Okay. I am safe, all is well. I am safe. Good things happen to me. And when we repeat this as a prayer often enough, we continue, it opens a portal for help.
That's a great reminder. Yeah, sometimes you don't even need like the physical person to ask for support. Like, we're supported by all these other beings and energies and forces.
It has to be, because just at that right moment, someone comes into your life that changes it, or you meet the right person, or you end up and there's this big sign that says help wanted, or
Right.
you're how does it happen that we're in the right place at the right time? And so raising vibration gets us to the right place at the right time. That's the
so
miracle.
true. Yeah, and I would love to get a little bit more into those different practices and things that you use to get into the right place at the right time and to keep your vibration high. And I know a lot of this work we've done together, and it's really impacted my life in a big way. And it's been a couple of years now, really, that we've been working together. So there's like so much that we've covered. I'm trying to even like figure out where to start, but I guess, just to share a little bit more with everyone that's listening about the work that you do now and the work that has really supported my own life. In the beginning, I think it was really a lot around remembering who I am. Like you were saying, that's part of your mission, and that we can forget how powerful we are. And so in the beginning, it was a lot of like discovery, through guided meditation, and that we did that small group sessions that we would meet every couple of weeks, and it's like a tune-up. It's really just like collectively using our intention to come in this particular field of energy where we can raise each other's vibration, really. And so much of this work, it's energy work, so it's like not really like, it's hard to put into words a lot of what we experience. But I would love for you to share a little bit more about the work that you do with people now, and anything you're feeling called to share on that.
Well, it's interesting. I think in your case and in what I do is ultimately help you to soul align. So
Right.
you can see, I mean, I was trying to think, I said, God, Ashley is such a good description of it. what is it we're really doing? We're doing soul alignment, and I'm calling it right that now because we work on aligning body, mind, and spirit. We start with your physical, okay? Because it's the physical that, we may be 5D angelic beings, but we're in a 3D reality. And that 3D reality, that material world is heavy. Body, mind, spirit, but our thoughts, our food. So we start with clearing that. And I teach you all about how to, I call it power on, how to turn on your own personal power and keep it. But that doesn't happen until we've worked through remembering who you are. So you can hear that song that's going through you, and that song can carry you wherever you're going.
Right.
If that makes sense. And then we work on clearing whatever's keeping you from soaring with your gifts, your special gifts, and using them, and really feeling your big purpose in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets to really this process, because I've been learning as I've been taking some of my students now. It's like, because I have art that shows it, art with stairways, it's like an initiation process. And we are going up levels until you get to the doorway and you can be where you're going. And that is what's happening.
Right.
Now, I did a reading for a woman the other day who's the first time I saw someone so close to that peak. And I've never been privy to that little place there. But there's a place we can all get to. And all she has to do is go around the corner to right here. That's all. Okay. That's a lot. Okay. Because remember I said 97% doesn't cut it in this case. So that's kind of what I do in the esoteric terms, in the real life terms. I help you solve your decisions. I help you have clarity. I help you move forward fearlessly. I help you have more energy and excitement. I renew your passion. I help explain things from another level that makes far more sense than what's going on down here. I help you leave all this baggage behind,
Right.
in a clear path. And then I guess I fluff your wings along the way.
Yes. Can't forget that.
Right?
Yeah, I think I was just remembering in the beginning, I was introduced to you with by a mutual friend. And, she was just saying that you do these readings and these calls, and I don't know why, but I just knew I had to do one. And that first call that we did, I think that it was really it was the affirming all the things that I knew within me, or things that I had been like whispers that I didn't really believe necessarily, or, got rid of a lot of doubt. I think everyone has inklings and ideas of their passion and their purpose and who they really are and what they want to be doing in their lives. And I do think that we all really do know these things, that we pretend that we don't, for many reasons. But to have someone that, like you, that can just tap in and speak to my guides and tell me all of these things that I had already been thinking for myself, it was such a moment of clarity for me, of like, okay, I am more powerful than I think I am. I already know these things. I can trust my intuition. And in that moment, I became very, I guess maybe hungry is the right word. Like I really wanted to learn more about who I was, because I felt like I was coming into a greater sense of knowing of that. And I knew that that you could support me in making those steps, like you say, going up that staircase. And so I'm so grateful for you and for people that do this work, because it brings such a sense of peace and ease in my own personal growth, to know that I have someone like you that is there to remind me when I forget,
Every visionary needs a visionary.
Right. That's such a good point.
And every great leader has advisors, because there's so many perspectives. But when you get this perspective from the big picture of why you're here, then you can make sense of the trials and tribulations of the planet, as
Yeah.
you tune up your own special gifts. And that's the whole key here. That's what
Mhm.
we've been doing. We have been, because I remember and for your people, that this is the very beginning work with me. We do deep diving sessions, which look at why you're here, what your purpose is, your mission is. You can email me for that, joan@joanofangels.com. Really why you're here. And it takes a while. And I remember this, Ashley, the moment we heard like your soul name
Mm.
and so it seems to me once you knew that, you wanted to, like, oh my gosh, how do I integrate her with
Mhm.
Ash, you know?
Right.
Oh my God, because the best way I could say it is I confirm your your intuition. I confirmed for you that those little glimpses you've been getting, because I didn't know what those glimpses are. I just told you what I saw,
Mhm.
and confirmed because they were so aligned with everything you had thought about what was possible for you.
Right.
What what was possible. Now this is where it takes a huge leap of faith to say, okay, I'm going to live my life in terms of how do I master now? How do I become what I really came here to do? And that's the commitment you have made.
Mm.
And it's been a process where
Mhm.
it's been a beautiful process, really. But I remember that soul name. I remember the feeling when it comes through, and everyone has a way spirit sees them, and special gifts. I want to speak to this. All of us have our own special gifts, whatever they are. I help you clear away. You help tune them up. You help on a massive scale, tuning people up. And so it's a some people can move things with their consciousness. Some people can shift the planet with a thought. What is it your special gift is? Because once we see what those are, then the whole big picture of how you fit into the orchestra of the planet, and what your mission is that you have to do so we can as a planet evolve.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, and that's a good point to emphasize, an overall health and well-being, is to have a sense of purpose and to have,
Yes.
and to know your gifts and to embrace them. And I think a lot of illness is actually caused from um, like discarding those aspects of ourselves or judging them or not embracing them, and can cause a lot of stress. And especially if you're in this like confusion state. And
Right. What are we telling ourselves to
mhm,
disconnect our pure energy?
mhm,
A lot goes into how do we really learn to heal our bodies from the inside out? How do we learn to heal our mind? How do we learn to walk our truth on the planet, feel good about it, sing our song, right?
mhm.
And just be. It's like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. There's so many pieces that get involved and get in the way of that, and for me, it was a lot of judgment in the beginning, of thinking I was weird or, just feeling like if I was my whole self and I'm still going through this process, I don't feel like I'm completely there yet by any means, but of accepting and embracing all of who I am to the point where I can fearlessly share that with everyone. There's a lot that can hold me back because I'm afraid of what people are going to think, or I'm just I guess that's probably the main one, is really like worried about what people are going to think, and like of being judged. And, like, what's that saying of like people or Marianne Williamson, I think, is the one that said that we're actually afraid of our light, more than our darkness. And because when you really shine, then you're seen, and so it with it can come a little bit of a level of responsibility, if you choose that. Um, but I think it's really important for us in our life path to really embrace these gifts and this purpose, and so that, like you said, it can help evolve consciousness in the planet. And each of us are such pieces of this puzzle to really forward the growth of our consciousness.
I had this vision one day, and I see things as visions. And in this vision, I was on this platform, and everyone was asleep except for me. And this platform had an antenna. That's how this whole thing came to me. It was an antenna. And the antenna was going up to these master ships up there. And what was my job? I was just standing there, tuning them up, tuning them up, tuning them up. That's
Mm-hmm.
my job, if you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. The moment you begin to know, and to go around to the circle, if you're in that state of who am I, what am I here, I've lost out, or I'm trapped. No, you're in a state now of percolating, like, because this podcast, we're just opening up this portal right now, raising your frequency so you can start to remember why you're here,
Mm-hmm.
remember the big picture. So I'm feeling like I just want to remind people that we can do
Yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm. Totally. One question that I've been wanting to ask you is, what do you think is really happening like on the planet right now with all of the things that are coming to the surface and all of the drama? It's like, what's really going on?
All right. You know what? I'm so glad you asked. And I'm actually going to close my eyes for a minute so I have a pure essence of where that's coming from. Oh my God, beloved ones, do not be disturbed by these ebbs and flows of emotions. These waves have been designed to disturb your consciousness, to muddy the waters, to agitate, to upset, to overturn, to be this tumultuous, almost explosion and expansion of energy at the same time. It's not to get involved like, oh, he did that. Oh, and then the whole wave of the planet goes like this in pain. Or, oh, this is going on, and we go this way in pain. And there's a constant stirring of people's emotions. And what is really going on is that there's actually a stimulation of new growth that is being replaced by removing the old. Don't be, do not get involved in the day-to-day machinations of either political, personal, even consciousness raising. Tend to your own garden. Tend to your consciousness during these times, because you're being tested. You were born for these times. We all know this has been prophesized and prophesized over and over and over again. And you who are listening to this are one of those leaders who were born to be here now. Remember, this is an illusion that you are watching this. Sit above and go, this is the destiny of the planet. And my job is to tune up my vibration so that I can be as stable, as whole, to bring in as much light through me to positively impact the planet. Because no, beloveds, you cannot stop what is here to come. It is a transformation. It will involve in the shifting of humanity, speaking their truth and being heard. At long last, some of the yoke and the trials and the tribulations will be lifted. However, do not be deceived. Stay above and out of the fray. Oh, look, everyone's upset about that. I am going to raise my own frequency, even if I have to say 1,000. I am safe, all is well. I am safe, all is well. Protect your energies. Do what you came here to do. Be the intuitive, be the holder of space. Don't read the papers. Stay away from that negative force, because anytime you step into that, you're a part of the problem. Become the solution. Be like the masters and the ascended masters and the guides, and hold this as sacred space. Look down upon the planet. In my meditations, I like to see planet Earth right here, and sending love to her and raising my own energy. So I'm all the way out to the galaxy with and bringing in celestial energy to these points on the planet. That's our work. We were called to be here. Ashley, you were called. Your music, your day life, your other life impacts positively both this side and this side of humanity and many souls, so that each soul has a chance to raise their frequency. That's our work. That's how we can help. Does this make sense? Does this answer your question?
Yes, yes, completely. And I mean, I feel that is so true for me as well. And and what I've been feeling. I often, it's funny, like I guess I judge myself for like not wanting to get as involved into politics, and I don't watch the news. I don't often know what's happening, and that's unusual for a lot of people.
You are safer that way,
Right.
because if you notice that every day with the headlines, they're designed to get the greatest emotional impact with you, to
Mhm.
make you the sickest, or to make you the freaked out the most, or whatever.
Mhm.
And honestly, who wants their emotions swayed by the outside world? No, it's about our inside world. We have always lived on a tumultuous planet. Honestly,
Right.
it has not been a cushy life is easy here on planet Earth. Come. No, it's been hard work. This is the lifetime of mastery, though. This is the lifetime where you could go, okay, that's the veil,
Mhm.
all that everyone else is suffering from. I'm going to look at the big picture now. I'm going to be part of the solution. I'm
Right.
going to master my gifts. I'm going to hold this space.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's like what you're saying. It's like creating the new instead of fighting the old is the difference in the energy for me that I've really stepped into in the last few years. It's like I'm so heartbroken by a lot of the stuff that's happening on the planet. And if I get sucked into that, though, I'm not able to be the light and to hold my vibration and to do all of the offerings that I do. And I really am focused more on creating this new way of living, through the communities that I'm involved with and so on. And I see that as if more and more of us do that, then we give our energy to creating something that is actually going to benefit and change things for the positive instead of protesting and fighting things that are not working. So it's just a different way of being, really.
So much can happen with raised consciousness as its
Mm-hmm.
basis. And research and studies have shown that when people come together and they hold this focus of positive intention, we can create and alter what is happening. And that is the job of all of those who, quote, call themselves light workers or masters, or people who want to do their soul mission. How
Mm-hmm.
do I hold to my soul mission, be of service, hold the space so that everyone else might be freaking out about what they read today? I'm just going to hold that space of calm, love. I'm going to go about my business because
Mm-hmm.
I know that will make the change people need.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's actually one of the ways that you asked me what tools and techniques do I use? That really is one of them. I
Mm-hmm.
really work consciously on what is it going to take to shift me so that I can feel this sense of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And or an even a better analogy. So one of my works is I tell people that I'm a wing fluffer, probably
Yes.
the top wing fluffer in the world, right? But
Agreed.
but even the wing fluffer knows that you can't go out with your wings fluffed without having your wings fluffed. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
think about it. You're all in dress and you're feeling powerful like a leader. Okay, and so you show up like a leader, or you're in your state of, oh God, the world is insane and I can't bear it and I'm a victim to all of this. Well, your wings, you're not showing up as that leader or that powerful being that you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing up as one of the masses who's at effect. Now, that happens to everyone when we forget who we are. But notice it doesn't happen as much to you now that you actually are living your memory.
Mm, that's so true. Yeah. And really setting up my environment has been a really important piece for me too, to be able to maintain that perspective and that vibration, and that's something that we could talk a little bit about, that I know some of the biggest things that have shifted my ability to stay in this higher vibration is, well, first of all, having the community, like I mentioned earlier, having my tribe, and that are working towards common goals and have a similar perspective so that I don't necessarily feel alone in that, has really been super important for me. And then also my environment. So, making sure that I live in a clean environment, for example, and without chaos, and, making my home a sanctuary and having the yummy smells and the flowers and, doing my ritual of clearing the space with sage or, whatever that is for me. And then also the ritual piece, I think, and the daily practice is, I guess, the same thing, something that we do consistently to maintain that, especially when life happens, things are always going to happen to us or to the people in our lives that we care about. And so, having that daily practice to really maintain that high vibration, even when it's can be really challenging, and I don't really know if is it possible to maintain a high vibration all the time? It's like, I guess that's.
Well, they say that the masters, the ascended
Mm-hmm.
masters, our great teachers did. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
Jesus ever had a bad day as he was walking. They don't really report about that.
Yeah.
That he had a bad day. However, from what I feel, there's a time of testing of spirit where we all have to go through a prayer, and we all have to really stand in our faith, confidence, and belief that this is going to be the true way. It's about, I have always, it's interesting, believed in myself and believed that I was here to heal and inspire millions of people. And even if I was at my worst moment where I was healing and inspiring, just only my children, it didn't matter. I was working to raise my frequency, and that is what produced the change we see today.
Mm.
So
yeah, and I think that over time for me, I might, have a bad day, but the bounce back is so much quicker, and the seeing the gratitude, and everything is also, consistent practice in my life. So even when I'm, going through some shit and it's been a really hard time, or I'm feeling really stressed out, or all these things, I'm still able, because of my daily practice and because of my commitment, I still have I think a perspective that knows that this too shall pass, and that I'm able to then come back into the higher vibration a lot quicker. And so I think that's the practice, right? Is like, how can I shorten that bounce back time?
Right, and live in perfection. In other times, other lifetimes, we lived in certain communities. Say, we lived in, say, the Essene community. I kind of have a feeling that you and I were there, and we all worked together. It was much easier because our clothing was cotton, our food was just made there. We were in little gatherings. We didn't have the internet to just, we didn't have the newspaper. We were devoted. We don't live those isolated lifetimes anymore. That we're in that sense of community. So yeah, it's really important to create our own rituals. I heard a speaker recently talk about living every moment as a ceremony. And I have been catching myself really working with that concept, because I notice that when I do something and I don't think of it as a ceremony, I'll lose things right away. Like if I'm moving things around and I'm not remembering this is a ceremony, I won't locate things. Like my mouse, can't find it. Because why? I was in the energy of, gotta clean. I wasn't in the energy of, now I'm going to purify my space. And everything has its perfect place. So in a sense, that's what you're describing. Living in a way that we slow ourselves down when we're and we go, okay, and we feel into, okay, I was running ahead of myself. I'm not, I pay attention, and I notice that's really important. That changes things instantly.
Completely.
It's like, oh yeah, phew, I forgot to pay attention to every moment.
I'm interested in you sharing a little bit around guides. So, this might be a new concept for some people listening to the podcast, but what does that mean to have spirit guides or angels or, beings that we can communicate with and ask for help? And how do you even do that?
Okay, well, Okay, shortcut to angelology. So we're here in the physical 3D world. There are more dimensions. There's so many things we can't see. We can sense it, we can sometimes smell it, but there's another aspect that's not three-dimensional at all. It's fifth dimensional and above. And in these spaces, there's beings that are here to assist us. The angel realm has always been with us for humanity as messengers from spirit, as guides to help us access what we need, or in many cases, save our life. So many instances of people who have been atheists who, oh my God, they came this close to being killed, and an angel told them. I just heard some stories the other day. Run. It was an amazing story. This woman was just told to run, and she just ran as fast as she can because the spirit told her, and there were two men after her. She ran and she ran, but the voice told her to run. And the same woman was telling the story. She was in the ocean and drowning. A whole group were watching her on the beach, and the voice said, just let go. And when she let go, the ocean spit her up. So you know what, guys, I'm willing to believe that there's a whole lot of what we don't know. And so we have beings that are here. We have departed loved ones who are part of our spiritual council. We have spirit guides and animals. If you've had, like my dog Bear, who I know is still one of my guardians, and they're in communication. We have a spiritual council that's just been assigned to help us, and you can invoke them. You can imagine sitting yourself in the center and having your team around you. You have healer angels, you have wisdom angels, you have work and prosperity and money angels, believe it or not. You have a get out of jail free card with your angels. If you turn to them and you ask them, we have other guides as well. By the way, we have ancient masters that come through to teach us new aspects of ourselves. Thank God, because just if we listened only to our 3D mind, we'd probably not get too far.
Right. Yes, exactly. I think, in my journey of working with guides, in the beginning, it was kind of like feeling like I was making it up, like I wasn't trusting the voices that I was hearing or the visions that I was getting. And through practice, of really just having fun with it, which can be through like guided meditations or finding someone to guide, in groups. A lot of people do group sessions for this kind of thing. Or, there's so many resources online now too for people that are curious about this, or they can reach out to you, and starting to just have fun with it. And I think this is a reminder for me to get back into that practice actually in this moment. I haven't been doing that as much, but really just having this overall sense of feeling like I am supported, at any time has been a huge shift in my life after working with my guides. And, I facilitate group breathwork and sound healing sessions. And so in that space, of course, I'm always calling on guides for protection and for safety and to clear the energy. And if they have any messages for the people that are in my group and all these things, I've had that format to really start working with them. That's been really beautiful. And it's fun, like if nothing else, to get to know these other beings and think of it as like a playful thing. And I think a lot of kids, are so connected to that realm because they're not so far from it when we're younger. And that's like the imaginary friends, that kids have. Like they're probably actually other beings, and I think as we get older, that aspect of ourself gets shut down. And so it's a part of reclaiming that as an adult to really to have fun with it, and to ask for that guidance and that support is an important part of my health and wellness anyways.
Well, mine too. It's really my miracle, because when I go into doing a reading, so I started doing readings professionally in 2003 or 4, because I was always a gifted empath and a healer, and people's bodies would talk to me, but I thought it was because I knew the people. So I thought, oh, family or friends, piece of cake. So I went to Costa Rica to test myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it was very powerful for me. But the confirmation comes, it's having a belief that what you're hearing is meant for you, and listening and then acting on it. Because honestly, our guides, and they're not going to, most people don't see them, by the way, coming in and sitting at the kitchen table with you. It's
Right.
more of a sense or a feeling or a thought that recurs, or this music that might play, right then, like a message for you. So that, or when I did readings and I'd go, oh my God, how am I going to do this? A van would go by that says miracle maids or angel maids, always, so that I'd remember it's not me. But getting confirmation always helps. So when I do a reading for someone and there's that magic symbol that comes through, I have had to learn, I forced myself to say it. Okay. And it may have been the weirdest thing, like I may say something like seashells. I don't know why. Okay. Don't know. But you would know. And then that's the basis of, oh my God, we tapped into what spirit really wants you to know. But it
Mm-hmm.
is a trust. And then it is an acting upon, because they're only going to give you as much as you can handle. So if you go too much, I'm too busy for you today, like I did. I wasn't going to paint 33 angels. The only
Mm-hmm.
reason they give me more information is that after the 33, I said, well, now what? And I was ready, but did they give me more? No. They want you to be able to listen first, pay attention, grok it, really feel it. And it could be simple as you have this feeling you should stop at the supermarket this morning, okay? And you listen to it, and there's that one person that you've been wanting to reach forever, right there. That's what happens. Or on the other hand, you don't stop at the supermarket and you get stuck in this amazing traffic jam that would have been avoided had you stopped at the supermarket. So
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to what happens and what doesn't happen when you listen is a real lesson.
Mm.
Everyone can try that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I remember some training that I did or workshop or something at some point, someone recommended like writing those things down and see, it's like an intuition journal, like
Right.
writing that. Maybe it was you that told me to do that. Now I'm
Sounds
thinking
like
about
that thing.
it. Yeah. And so that can be really helpful because then you're really listening because you have that extra piece of like writing it down, and noticing what happens when you do listen and take those actions can
And
be really powerful.
noticing, yeah, the more you listen, the more they're going to give you. Why would they give you more if you're constantly closing your ears and consciousness to the messages you're getting?
Mm.
And by the way, your intuition works all the time. Like you might be walking down the street and you see these two guys walking there and you just know that you don't want to be near them. That's an
Mm-hmm.
intuitive sense.
Right.
And you want to develop that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Beautiful. Well, I'd love for you to do a card reading or, any sort of reading that you want to do for everyone that's listening.
Oh, good. Music to my ears. So I did 44 of my paintings. Well, the 44 paintings told me that they wanted to be on a deck of cards. They came to me as the Masters of Miracles, and they actually have miracle messages for you. And I do have all 44 cards up on my YouTube channel, which is, I think, Joan of Angels hand garter. But again, actually, if you go to joanofangels.com, I do have a little blurb, and I'll put all that up there.
Cool.
But so I asked Spirit, and I did pull cards. So the first card that came was this one, Heaven's Path. So it's that walking this pathway is what we're going to do. It's your way is clear. There'll be signs. It says follow the signs. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we've been talking about. I used to ask my angels, well, can't you show me as a direct arrow? Like I'm pretty dense. I said this, I'm very dense. Can you please show it so it's really clear to me, like arrows, so that I'm not mistaken? And
Mm.
believe it or not, they can even do that for you. So your way is clear, and time to move forward. Stop clinging for dear life. Okay. Second card is Crystal Cities. And this card, oh God, this painting was done in Mount Shasta, not Mount Shasta, I'm sorry, Sedona. And it was what was inside it was the crystal cities inside the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these beings are coming out, these master teachers, those with ancient wisdom for us. So once you start moving forward and clearing the way and listening, that's when the guidance, the teacher will come forward. That's when miracles will happen. When you're clearing your field, listening, raising your vibration. So be prepared to be amazed. This is miracle messages for all of you. Expect miracles. But there's another step here. This is the victory card. Every step, remember I said a while ago that there's like a stairway to mastery. If you think of the top, well, as really source, probably getting off the wheel. Okay, the top, I was trying to say, well, exactly what is the top? Well, I can't exactly say it's success. It is victory, because it means that you as a soul have mastered your challenges. And how do we get there? By fearlessly slaying everything that keeps us from getting there. Everything in
Mm-hmm.
our way, our thought, our body, our mind. Each step we take, though, does take us closer to our success, to our mastery, to our life path.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of, so the outcome, victory. Walking your path and asking for clarity. Letting go of things that keep you from seeing. Okay, if you're drunk every night, you won't see. You're too dense for spirit to give you a message. Guidance and mastery. Be prepared to be amazed. Well, this is my work in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Success is assured. Each step takes you closer to your miracle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story of our journey on the planet.
Yes, completely. I love that. Beautiful. I typically ask, towards the end of the podcasts, what your personal practices are for maintaining a high vibration. So I know we covered a lot of that already in this podcast. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Really, one of my best practices is my own alignment process. Okay, and I teach it. You send your roots down to the center of the earth. You send your antennas up to the heaven, and you literally feel that as a rod supporting you. And believe it or not, I really practice fluffing my own wings, and I practice feeling that essence. And I always ask for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always sitting here and asking that which is for the highest good. I have tools that I use, and I teach my clients how to ask if is this the right place to move into, or is it not? So I do practices on asking for clarity, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of clarity, a lot of letting go. In the shower, I do my little miracle power thing, which is where I just let go, let everything. It's really easy in the shower because you're already letting go. And
Mm-hmm.
I just visualize not only letting go, but the light of the world coming right through me, and then clearing everything, and then raising my own vibration, healing my own heart. So I do this, and I do this a lot during the day as well. I may be walking my dog, and I may be claiming. I'm reaching people and helping them remember who they are. People are massively around the world starting to step into not just their destiny, but into their power, causing an amazing ripple effect of love, peace, and harmony on the planet, causing new growth and new understanding, healing, and peace. I am part of this process. And I just repeat to myself, when I'm in my worst places, I start repeating to myself what I really see. I see that this is a planet that's rebirthing and regenerating, and I have a place of helping people, and that my words and my heart is helping to unfold. So I shift the way I see myself and the world. And that's what I ask you to do too.
Mm-hmm.
We take our blinders off, and it's an amazing planet.
Totally. Yes, exactly.
So for your listeners, for your people, That's what I do, guys. I help you remember why you're here, who you are, and help you start to release all the things that have kept you from being that powerful you, that you who's mastered. And and when we're not doing that, we're in despair, or we're not we're in ill health, or we're anxious. But when we step in it, we start to clear it, we're there. All right. That's our sign, Ashley. You can also reach me at joanofangels.com.
Okay, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I will definitely put your contact information in the show notes.
I love you so much. I love your people. And just reach out to me, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. All right.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
listening. Thanks again for listening to another episode of Vibrational Medicine. If you're interested in learning more about my personal practices that I use in my own life, my daily rituals, you can go back and listen to episode 1. And if you're interested in learning more about Joan and what she offers, you can find her on all of the social medias, which I will post links to in the show notes. Thanks, y'all. Have a beautiful day.